they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Thursday, May 9th, 2024, and this is episode 694 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled, Oh, Canada. And I'll be chatting about saying see you next time to some great friends, a recap of their stay here. And there is a new snail hotel on site here in our area, in our house, I guess, in our trailer. We have a new snail enclosure. I'll talk about that, how we got it together yesterday, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. It's all set up and transferred, so talk a little bit about that. Some crazy weather. I hope everybody's okay. Mike's homestead, all good in the hood over with you. If you got peeps on the east side or the southeast side of Tennessee, Kentucky, check in on them. Make sure they're around because they had a rough night last night. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And yeah, more. And much, much more. Let's check in with live chat, see who's hanging out in the coffee crew over there. Grab a cup and hang out for a while. Good morning, guys. It is it was a rough one last night. I'm not gonna lie. I had it easy. Corey on nights like last night, Corey really takes the brunt of what happens. So I'll get into that in a second, but let's see who's over in the chat. Pip in early as normal, but not as early as normal, only 5:15. Good morning, Pip. How we doing? Good morning, humans, from Pip. Mike's Homestead, how we doing? Rewilder Life, good morning. Digger, thanks for joining, and appreciate you being here. Rachel says, geez, all you talk about is your kids. Well, I mean, that's what people talk about, right? Pickle Pete, good morning. Good morning, Pickle Pete. Mike's Homestead says he's heading towards the Carnage now, just a couple miles north of me. Well, I'm glad you are safe. I am glad you're safe. How is the local response around there? Is it all in, or do they is it all in with the community, or is it a struggle to get people to help? Or do people help right away and then it's just like, oh, well, I did my part and I'm done? So I've seen that. Minnesota would get some pretty decent tornadoes that would rip through every now and then. And really depending on the area of the state would be the response and the long-term response. I mean, everybody always shows up the first day, but it takes more than a day to clean up for shit like that. So Pickle Pete says, got a job as a swamper. Holy fuck, it kicked my ass. You're an old man. You are an old man. Of course it's going to kick your ass. Glad you got your job. It sounds interesting, man. I'm interested to hear how it goes for you, and how long you do it, how much you enjoy it, and where it goes. So, hey, it's always a new adventure, my man. It always is, and the opportunities pop up when you're supposed to take them. So, bravo. Rewilder, she's just kidding about the kids. Mike says it'll be all in. That's good. I had the pleasure of meeting guy from Off Grid and Growing at SRF, and they had just had a tornado go through the town that they lived outside of. They were okay. It was away from them. They had another one bearing down on them last night, and I got to check in this morning, and hopefully it skipped them this time, but it basically demolished the town. And that's what he said about everybody was all in here. It's like a different response. And that was the response we would get in rural Minnesota. Like if you got outside the cities 100 miles or more, it was night and day. It was night and day for sure. So I'm glad it's like that around here, that people all pitch in. It's been bad. It's been bad. Pickle Pete's got a first day pick. Oh boy. Oh, Bo, is that like the first day of school pick? Did Chicken Joe get that for you, or did they do it as an employer? Did you show up and they were like, "Oh, you got to get your first day picture"? But anyway, what's in the cup this morning? I got a fantastic FTO blonde espresso. Pickle Pete says tornado. Yeah, shitloads of tornadoes in Tennessee yesterday, dude. It was a rocky ride overnight. Nothing here. Everything kind of skipped over us. Fortunately, they rolled through. We were kind of in the trough and not the peak of the intensity. It kind of dumped to the west of us before it got to Memphis, and then kind of pittered out and pushed over the river, and then picked up steam again after it was headed towards the center of the state. And I saw a picture this morning. I was checking out some of the posts last night on Twitter, and you guys got me starting to poke around with Mr. Ryan Hall, and he's an interesting cat. He's an interesting guy, but man, the people that tag him in some pretty cool pictures. But the storms ended up west or east of us. Sorry, Nashville. Nat kind of started ripping off between us and Nashville, so like an hour east of us. Yeah, and then it just rolled again. Saw a picture that they posted that there were nine storms within it wasn't one cell, but they were all in the general area of southern Tennessee, southeastern Tennessee, northern Georgia, northern Alabama. There were 9 spots that were rotating with the distinct possibility of dropping tornadoes at once. He had like the radar screenshot. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's going on, guys? Corey and I talked about it yesterday, and I really, 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 really try to stay reserved on the weather shit. But that's one of the things that really sits in my head, and just being a objective observer, watching it over the years, it doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. I don't get it. But anyway, I got an FTO blonde espresso because I'm beat, and Corey really gets it because she's the dog mom. She's the dog mom, and we got one right now that it really started when the lightning hit the tree in our front yard here. It was relatively shortly after we got here. We had a thunderstorm, and lightning hit the tree probably 30 yards from us, if that, and striped it down the side with a char mark, and it was loud. Clyde really had a problem with that. It freaked him out. And now anytime there's even a rumble of thunder, even before we can hear it, he starts kind of getting nervous, and he starts putting himself under like Corey's desk during the day, won't leave her side. He's like Velcro. And then at night, what he does is he comes and lays next to her. And as the storm progresses, he gets up and checks all the windows. So it wakes her up because he gets up. He's a 150-pound dog getting up in bed with her. And he goes and he checks all the windows and then comes back in and lays down next to her and shakes and is nervous, and then rinse and repeat all night. So Corey gets basically no sleep. It was also ripe for storms because it was hot, humid, and still. And so we didn't get a lot of airflow in here. And we've been... Bless her. I mean, Corey's been a trooper through, the dog's been a trooper, but we've held off on turning the air conditioner on so far this year, which is fantastic. It's been hot, I'm not gonna lie, and the humidity is ridiculous, And that's the big thing with our air being as old and beat up as it is. It really doesn't do well with the humidity. But we've been able to avoid that. We've been able to use fans. Last night's temperature didn't drop off a whole lot, so it was pretty miserable. And we were kind of at like our threshold right now for heat humidity combination where we have to turn that on for them. I can deal. The dogs get really uncomfortable and they make us uncomfortable. So it was a rough night. Corey's gonna have a rough day, I'm sure. It's not gonna be fun. She was definitely up all night with Clyde, and I was woken up twice or three times overnight from thunderclaps, so I can imagine he was just beside himself. Good morning, Backwoods Butcher. Thanks for stopping. And Canadian Farmstead, how we doing? Backwoods says we got space in the field. Only thing is half the year we're frozen hell. Yep. Backwoods says my dogs are desensitized to thunder and gunshots. They barely bark anymore. Two of them, I mean, one of them doesn't even flinch. Walter could give two flying fucks about anything. I literally think I think that a tornado could go down the street and Walter would just roll over and grunt and snore a little bit and miss a beat and then go right back to sleep. Oh, okay. Corey says last night she threw a towel on him. He didn't even move. Didn't flinch, didn't move. Just, yeah, no worries whatsoever. Norman picks up on Clyde's anxiety, and he tries to comfort him, I think. And he gets nervous because Clyde's nervous. Not that Norman's nervous about the storm. Norman is just like Walter. He could sleep like a rock. But I think he gets nervous for his brother, and they're definitely a bonded pair. And when Clyde's upset and anxious, Norman gets a little irritated though when he has to stay up and deal with his brother. And the last time, so I didn't get a full report from last night, but the last time we had thunderstorms at night, Clyde was doing the thing I described where he was like pacing to the windows and then coming and laying down next to Corey and then jumping over Corey and laying on the other side between her and the wall. And finally he lays down and Norman comes over and like lays down next to him and like pins him against Corey so he couldn't get up. And he's like, you're not doing this anymore. And Clyde just kind of stopped and turned and laid his head on Norman's back and he just calmed down for a little bit. But Norman had enough. He was probably getting tired. What are you talking about? Backwoods Butcher's talking about getting St. Bernards for some reason, and I wholly encourage you not to do it. Are you drunk this morning, my man? Did you jump off the wagon? Did all my comments stop working? Is Kyle the only one commenting? And by the way, Kyle, I have quite a bit to talk to you about. Since you hate me, and you don't ever want to talk to me, and you just blow me off every time you said you're gonna get ahead of me. Yeah. Hunter says maybe I should invent some calming shoes. I have had it on my list for a couple days that I need to email or send a message to that company because I've been able to make a video about their treat pouch, but I can't. Oh no, Mike's Homestead, first obstacle, flooded road. Yeah, I can imagine that. It looked like it came down pretty hard, even if it wasn't a tornado. Most of the cells had some pretty ridiculous rain. So it'll be interesting, man. Stay safe for sure. It's wild when you're in storm cleanup and light's coming up right about now. So you're probably good, but man, when it's dark and it's stormed and there's no street lights, there's no lights, things can get kind of hairy. So watch yourself. I'm sure you're experienced in doing this, but Canadian Farm says Clyde needs CBD. Yeah, I have to reach out to that company because I got to be like, you know what? First of all, I would really love to test these, but I can't tell the difference in my St. Bernards, first of all. But I do have this high strung one. But none of the 3 of my dogs will eat these things. None of them. Oh, Pickle Pete. I didn't even think of that. Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Corey. Brian said the foot spray for Norman, that should work with Clyde and possibly handle some of that anxiety. Huh? The spray he sent. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I couldn't remember it. We're only 15 minutes in. I couldn't not remember to tell her that. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. We'll give that a try. We hadn't. Kyle says it's not easy becoming a TikTok celebrity. Yeah, dude, but I want to talk to you about making money. So I have to talk to the company that their flavors might be a little off. Their flavors definitely could be a little off. Pickle Piece says 10 times in his mouth. Corey's like, no problem. How about 20? Canadian Farm says that Kyle hates money. I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure he does hate money and money. Brian says it works for 5 minutes orally. Hunter says, have you tried a calming treat? No, not yet. Guys, I didn't sleep as bad as Corey last night, but I was definitely up and down, so I'm kind of tired. So I might have chugged my first couple cups of coffee, so I'm a little more scattered than usual. Okay, all right, let's reset and get going here. So yesterday I had to say see you later. I don't say goodbye. And that was a long time ago. It was some stuff with Corey's family. It was some stuff, just some stuff that from some interactions. It was kind of you don't say goodbye. You say see you later. You never know if it's going to be the last time. You never know if it's going to be the last time that you see somebody. But I always try to put the positive vibes out there and say see you later. Jesus, Kyle is on a roll this morning. And so yesterday was Tim and Becky Cook, Toolman Tim and his wife Becky, the owners of Delinquent Scully, the people I've been working. If you listen to this show and you don't know who he is, shame on you, first of all. But go follow him, go check him out. Fantastic human being. His wife Becky's a fantastic human being. Just incredible people to hang out with. I'm so glad I got to know him. I'm so glad I'm getting to work with him. I'm so glad to progress further with our relationship, working on the property together, acquiring some of the property from him, and then partnering with him on a pretty cool project that we have in line. Tim thinks big and makes it happen. Becky thinks bigger and makes it happen. They're fantastic people, and I can't wait to see what we can accomplish together with all 4 of us, Corey and I and them, all on the same page and putting energy together. It's going to be interesting to watch. I think the results will be shocking. But yeah, I went over and spent some time Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, I didn't talk about it yesterday morning much, but Tuesday night, Tim, Becky, Corey and I went out to dinner. It was coming down to a few of the last nights they were going to be here. We went and got Mexican and had a great night. We sat and talked for 2.5 hours, I think, and then pretty much had to go because the restaurant was emptying out. So that was good. And then yesterday I popped out and spent all day hanging out and finishing up some projects. Had some things that needed to be done before they took off this morning. Well, didn't need to be done. I could have finished it up on my own, but just stuff that was easier to get done with them and with two people, and that just have it done for peace of mind when they left. So we went out, we finished another 8x8 structure, got a roof on it, got a door in it, got it all kind of sealed up for some storage. And yeah, and hung out. We went on a dump run and was a complete failure of a mission. The dump was the convenience center was closed, and we found the regular commercial dump, and that was like $65 to dump a few garbage bags. So I'm going to take care of that after the fact. But and then we went back, and Tim and I recorded about, it was like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, just talking about his trip and talking about everything that he got done, everything that we got accomplished, the plans that we have going forward, and that kind of stuff. Good morning, John Palmer. Thanks for stopping. And it just really reminded me of all the stuff we did. And so I thought I'd talk about that this morning. Tim was down for 2 months, like 2 months. So he was here just about 2 months. I think it was 59 days or something. He did 4 in-person events while he was here at different points, including Self-Reliance, Kentucky Sustainable Living, Mountain Readiness Festival, and LFTN, I believe, are the 4 that he did. But in between, he traveled back and forth, and he stayed at anytime he was in the area, in this local area, he stayed out at Delinquent's Gully. And when he showed up, there was an 8x8 cabin. It was the 8x8 cabin that we built at Workday from last fall's SRF, put up in one day. It was definitely put up in 1 day. It really was. Thus it had a few hiccups, but it was a structure and it was an accomplishment. It was a fantastic story. And it was a great visual of what our communities can do when they show up all together. The progress on that property, and I've talked about it a bunch of times between then and now, the progress on that property when 15 people from our community show up together and work in unison on several projects, the accomplishment that happened in that 12 hours or whatever we were actually working was phenomenal. Pip was there. Kyle wasn't quite there, I don't think. I don't think Kyle showed up. I don't think he was in town yet for Workday. Mike's Homestead was there. I'm sure I was running around like crazy. I had the fortune of meeting my friends Norman and Herschel there for the first time, and we've become great friends over the last 7 months or so. And so that was the start of it. There wasn't a whole lot of progress over the winter until Tim came out this spring. We kind of observed the property some more. Corey and I did work. We cut in some trails, but nothing really construction-wise, nothing really expenditure-wise. It was more observation. It was more planting things that we wanted to propagate, clearing areas, really making a plan. Backwoods Butcher says, you guys better buckle up for me to show up for Workday this year. And it says it's going to be just me going down this year. You're going to be a busy boy if you're going down by yourself on Workday. But anyway, we didn't do a whole lot. I mean, the progress was there. Like, we were always moving forward. We were always doing something. But the frequency and the intensity of the work was laid back. We took off for a month in there. We did a lot of things here. We got a lot of Oh God. Kyle says he's got genetics on his hands, so I'm sure we'll get a lot done. Jesus. So it was good. It was a good summer. SRF came, built that over the winter. It was kind of more of the same. We went out as often as we could. We didn't really have a plan in place. We worked on it, and when Tim got here, we really talked about the future of this and how it's going to go. Over the next 2 months, we really finalized the fact that we're going to move out there. We're going to kind of go full time out there and make that property happen. And by make it happen, I mean all sorts of fun stuff is going to be happening there. Really can't talk about it all, but on his trip, so he got out there, and the first night I felt so bad. He got out there and he was going to stay at the property, super excited. And he had an 8x8 cabin. And I don't know if you slept in an 8x8 cabin. I don't know if you've functioned in an 8x8 cabin. I have a little bit of experience hanging out in small spaces. If you can look right here, and it's not comfortable. It's definitely something you have to adjust to. It's not something that you're going to leave your house and walk into your 8x8 for the first time and go, oh, yeah, I got this. He had a little folding table. He had a 4x2 folding table. So if you think about 8x8, he had 4x2 folding table and a bedroll. And you can figure out how much else fit in there. And if you've ever met Tim, if you've met him in person, if you've seen him on the interwebs, Tim's a big dude. Tim and I are both big dudes. Like when we stand next to each other, we kind of mute how large we both are. He's well over 6 foot. He's a big guy. I'm well over 6 foot, and I'm a big guy. And I was like, it's not going to be long before he's ready to have something bigger than that. So Tim stayed in there for about, I think 3 days, and then he had to take off and go up to Kentucky Sustainable Living. And he sent me a message and said, hey, when I get back, we're making the cabin bigger. Like, okay. In the time he was here, we quadrupled the size of it. I say we. He did a lot of it on his own when he had time in between while he was out there. He stayed out there full time, like I mentioned earlier. So he had a lot of mornings to pick away at stuff. But we did some yeoman's work when I would go out and have the day to go work together. And in the 2 months, quadrupled the size of his cabin. Actually more than that, because we added a secondary structure next to it. So now he's got a 16 by 16 cabin, 2 8x8 rooms and a 16 by 8 room, a 16 by 4 porch on the front and the back, and an 8x8 enclosed bathhouse that's going to house a shower, a composting toilet, a high efficiency washer and spin dryer, and some other storage stuff. So it is expanded. It is expanded. It's to a point where it's where the physical structure is about where it's going to be. We might end up doing a little bit more of a lean-to for some outside type storage. Or we've also kicked around the idea of just having a little extra storage at some of the other campsites, like in other shed types buildings. But for conversation's sake, his plot is really much, the footprint is done. Now it's just finishing and fine tuning it. So he's way more comfortable. We got that done. Man, we pounded out the situation between how we're doing our stuff. That's pretty much a go. They're taking off this morning, and I think Corey and I will be out this weekend kind of staking out some spots to consider where we want to put our structure. And we're going to get some consultation here next week on what someone else thinks. Get another opinion. Get another opinion on a couple of different locations where we have it down to 3 or 4 spots, and they're all generally in the same area. So I want someone, Kerry Brown from Strong Roots Resources is going to be out in the area, and going to take him out to dinner if he kind of takes a look and really observes and sees if there's something we're missing in that area. But as soon as we have those 4 stakes in for our general footprint where we're going to build our cabin, it's kind of balls out. It's going to be carry the material in and get it up as soon as possible, because we're super excited to get out there. We're super excited to get on the property and progress, to be able to put an hour into working on the property instead of it being 2 hours, because it's a half an hour both ways. It will be absolutely it'll be fantastic. It'll be fantastic. The amount of progress that will happen when that situation changes is there's no doubt in my mind what we're going to do. So it's exciting. I'm glad to have made that partnership with him. And I think back, and the fact that I watched a video of a dude sucking bees out of an eave, a second story eave, with a shop vac and some PVC pipe that he cobbled together. And I watched it and I was like, this dude's nuts, but he's hilarious. I gotta watch this shit. And I subscribed to his channel, and I kept watching his videos, and I started watching his live streams and commenting in his live streams. The guy lived in Alberta. I was in Minnesota. Like, we were a long ways away, but we built a relationship, and we have similar mindsets. We have similar ideas and principles. And we kind of clicked. And from that video of him sucking those bees out and being successful doing that, to sitting on the porch yesterday at his cabin, pretty much setting the course until I see him again in September, October, and working with him and building a partnership with him with this property, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Mike's Homestead says, can you get the camper out of the property? Probably not. I think it would be more. Wouldn't be worth the juice. Wouldn't be worth the squeeze in that situation. I mean, it would be. I don't want it there, really. If I get it there, I'd have to get it off of there. I don't think I would want it there long term anyway. I think we want more of everything to kind of blend in as much as possible to kind of look like it belongs there in the woods. And getting that camper cut into there would be pretty rough. So we're not considering that as an option. First of all, getting it back the easement road would be impossible. Our trailer's too long and heavy to get up and down those hills on the easement road. And beyond that, we would have to reopen up a logging road, and it would be like 14 or so properties we'd have to get access through and clear out a bunch of pretty decent size trees that have fallen over the logging road. So yeah, it was just nothing that we considered. We have a very affordable spot where we're at right now, and it made sense to keep our trailer here. We are going to scavenge and reuse a lot of the stuff from the trailer, the solar system, the wood stove, the composting toilet. And once we transition into the cabin, we'll probably sell this and we will be on. We're committing on the property 2 to 5 years ish, depending on how things go. Man, if things go right, it'll be 2 years, and we'll be doing this again somewhere. But our travels are going to be smaller. We're going to be lighter, more nimble. We're going to build out a different style trailer. We don't want as big of a trailer as we have. So this is the end of the road for this one. This is the end of the road for this one. Thanks, K-Bonk. I appreciate that. And good morning, by the way. Excuse me. Good morning, Jim. Jim, did your alarm not go off? Sorry, buddy. Mike's Homestead says family will let him be run by Saturday to look at the progress. Heading to Henderson Saturday for his son's graduation. Well, congratulations to your son. Yeah, let me know, man. Hit me on Telegram, and we might be out there. And if you give me, even if we're not, depending on what we're doing, if you give me an hour, I might be able to swing out, even if we're not there. So, Pickle Pete says, sell the trailer your current camp host. They can use it as permanent Airbnb. Yeah, it's a consideration for sure. Our trailer over the last 6 months, I've been discovering some stuff that I'm not real happy about. It's old. I think there was some stuff going on before we took over. I think there's been some stuff that has developed since we have had it, and things have accelerated. These aren't made to do what we're doing, and we knew that going in. We knew this wasn't like a build out that we were going to live in and retire in. That it was a short cycle. Packwood says that the fact you're living in a trailer, not at all. What's wrong with living in a trailer? You got a problem with me, man? I can't wait till SRF. I'm gonna beat your ass. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Options, and more options. Minimums, like Corey and I are doing what do we need to get into the property? We need 4 outside walls. We need 2 enclosed spaces to do our work. And we'll figure the rest out. I mean, there are some other minimums it just bare necessities, but we're really, 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 really good at making do. And the last 2.5 years, or even more than that, because we lived it in our driveway in Minnesota when we had a house sitting right next to it, living in here has really prepared us to adapt and overcome. Good morning, Chris Dixon. How we doing? Behind the tennis courts after school loser. Our tennis courts were in front of the school, so that doesn't make sense. It was the basketball courts behind the school. Pickle P says, giant Jello wrestling. Can I sell tickets and stream it? What? Jello wrestling in the trailer? Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we'll even get out of this. I know there's some water. There has been in the past, and there's currently some water intrusion issues, and some other things. So who knows? Backwood says you guys had tennis courts. We had like 8 tennis courts and several basketball courts. Yeah. Rewilding life. Yeah, it makes it able to overcome. And you're happy with the little things. Yeah, like empty toilet or something, or a full water tank. You're like, great. My day's fantastic. Oh, so yeah, Tim and Becky were down. Becky's been down back and forth. I also got to meet Tim's daughters, his twin daughters. They man, what fantastic girls those are. I talked about it after SRF. It was a pleasure meeting them. They're everything I had expected out of Tim and Becky. Like the young ladies are spitting images of their parents in attitude and sass and intelligence and motivation, and just pleasure to be around. So that's cool. I'm excited to watch them continue to grow up. They're 14 right now, and watching them rule the world, because with Tim and Becky as guides, those girls are going to be so successful. It'll be unreal. Ruala says, I'd be happy with a toilet. Hey, you got a bucket? Because that's what I'm planning on. Chris Dixon says it was a concrete pad with a fence, so it could have just been a holding area. It was the exercise yard. Come on, let's get it right. They put some hoops with chains for nets up along the fence wall, and every once in a while we got lucky enough they'd toss us a basketball. Backwoods Butcher says that's how we're gonna sell SRF tickets. Say there's Jello wrestling, but don't tell anyone it's me and Brian wrestling. I'm not wrestling you, dude. You probably have some weird. You would probably. I don't want to know what you would do, and I'd be afraid that I'd get a penalty for grabbing the horsetail. Hunter says, "Wow, 14. It's been a while." Oh, since you started watching Tim and his girls were like 6. K-Box says thumb the thumb. Yeah, definitely thumb that thumb, guys. But yeah, I am so glad. I'm so glad I hit like and subscribe on Tim's stuff, and followed him and built this relationship with him and Becky and Corey, and yeah, it's inspiring to work with someone in the mindset of those two. You don't find it. You don't find it a lot. And I'm excited. I'm happy to go forward with it. So I hope them safe travels home. They're headed up to Illinois to the Two Chicks Homestead. They're gonna have a meetup this weekend and then back off to Canada. He says he doesn't want to leave and he loves it here. And I said, dude, you got a lot to go home to. You got a lot to go home to. You got a lot of success there. You got those beautiful girls. You got your wife and your family there. We're here. This place isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get better. And can't wait to see you in the fall. So no road trip this fall for him. He's just coming down for SRF. I think we're going to plan a couple work days around SRF. One before, one after, to accommodate more people and their travel schedules and busyness. So more to come on that as it gets closer. It's still a ways out. We're really not sure what's going to go on. Corey and I are hoping to be in our cabin by SRF. Hoping. That's not a timeline. That's not a definite, but it's a rough target. And Tim basically said, well, if we have hands on deck and you're not in there by SRF, we know what we're going to be working on. And I don't want to do that. My motivation for being in there is that I don't want to take the workforce off of the Delinquents Gully project to work on my cabin. That's my motivation to be done by SRF. Backwoods Butcher says it's not a penalty to grab his ponytail, his horsetail. Excuse me, his ponytail. He shaved his ponytail off, but he still has his horsetail. It's not a penalty if he asked me to do it. Backwoods says he's going to absolutely get attacked by the dogs this year for a TikTok video. Did you see Tim almost lost a nipple, dude? And Pickle Pete says I'd get a thumb up the butt for sure. Oh, I'm sure, Kyle. If it was only a thumb, I'd be lucky. Chris Dixon says the internet, Tim, is inspiring. but you can't beat in person Tim. Such a fantastic dude. It's hard to explain. Chris has met him multiple times and spent and actually not just at a meetup and shook hands or bullshitted for a little bit. He's spent time with the man. He's infectious, and not like in an STD way, like in a good way. I mean, maybe in an STD way, but definitely in a good way too. Backwoods says he'd lose a nipple for a TikTok video. Dude, I got dogs that'll lick your nipples off, slow death. They won't bite them off, but they'll lick them off. Pickle Piece says Tim's like Santa Claus but real. I mean, I don't know. Santa Claus is the right analogy. I don't know. He's just a good dude in general. But Hunter's glad he has his earpiece in. What do you mean? What do you mean? Backwoods says he's not looking for sexual gratification, so he'd rather not have my St. Bernard lick his nipples off. All right, 46 minutes. This has gone way too sideways. What's next on the list? Yes, my friends are leaving. My very good friends. I wish them safe travels to Illinois to Two Chicks to their meetup, and then on to Alberta. Tim kept almost apologizing for the fact that him and Becky were going to take a little extra time on the way back. Maybe make it 2 or 3 day trips or 3 or 4 day trips instead of 2 day trips, or adding in a few days here and there. And I looked at him and I said, dude, enjoy your vacation with your wife. You have a week left. Enjoy it. Your stuff is established enough. You can take a week away. You have enough backlog content. You can pre-post it. Whatever you got to do, take 7 days and have a vacation with your wife. And he's like, thank you for letting me do that. And please hold me accountable if I get back and I don't get back into work mode. But the dude has just spent 2 months busting his ass, spending his time like constant. His wife is down here for the second trip. They're going to take a trip back together. And I said, stop and enjoy it, man. Stop and enjoy it. And I hope he does. I hope he takes the time and slows down and enjoys it. And I have confidence he will. Becky gave us a going away present. Well, them going away present. Another grocery bag full of Canadian treats. Those fantastic Canadian candy bars with less ingredients on the list and real sugar, and better tasting chocolate and less chemicals. Thank you, Becky, for supporting my sugar addiction for another. Well, I told Corey, said we got candy bars for a long time, and she looked at me. She's like, "Bullshit! It'll be gone by this weekend." And she might be right, but it is a pile of candy bars. Oh man, and haystacks. Haystacks? What are those things called? Haystacks? Hickory sticks. Close. And I did get a package of maple cookies, and as soon as I opened it, I could smell it across the room again. Those maple cookies. Oh man. So thank you to those guys. Thanks to those guys. Yeah, it wasn't even close. But you gotta think, Kyle. I said haystacks. No all dressing chips, Canadian Farm said it was all candy bars and hickory sticks. Hickory sticks? I still don't even know what they're called. They're like the little I don't even pick sticks from when I was younger. but they have a little seasoning on them. I told you guys I didn't sleep very good last night. Didn't sleep at all. Corey didn't either, but she can concentrate it. Canadian Farmstead said hickory sticks are good. Thanks for confirmation. So yes, I appreciate all the treats. Real quick here at the end, we built a new snail hotel yesterday. Corey is on a mission. She said she was going to find more this morning, but I don't see her out there. I don't see her out there in the rain looking for them in ideal snail hunting conditions. But we transformed a 18-gallon tote from Dollar General. I mentioned we picked it up. We ended up transforming it yesterday. I was able to get into the back of the truck, all the way in the back of the truck, like literally as far back in the bed as possible. I had a roll of screen, window screen. We were able to take the tote and cut a large hole out of the top of the tote. And hot glue the screen on it so that they can crawl across it. They can't get out of the tote. Corey made a fantastic habitat for them using cocoa core and all sorts of fun stuff from outside. Transferred our 4 current residents from their tiny little starter terrarium over into the new large terrarium. They should have plenty of room to be able to roam and enjoy it. Backwoods Butcher says you guys are adorable. Dude, it's all about the Benjamins for me. I was kind of nonchalant about the snails. My wife is the animal lover for sure. I have to admit they were super cool to watch. I really enjoy watching the videos she gets of them. I really think they're really cool to watch. They really started interesting me when I did the math. That's my objective with these things. Corey has the thing sitting on her desk, literally sitting on her desk next to her computer. They're Corey snails. They're Corey snails. This is already going down like the our adventure with rabbits. And our adventure with rabbits was basically I took care of the life and death stages. Corey got to enjoy the adult rabbits and all the new baby bunnies. And I attempted to make money with them and took care of the breeding and the dispatching and the packaging and all of that stuff. So I can see it being Corey's pets and my income stream. Oh, wait, Corey's pets and our income stream. And that's fine. That's fine. And we work well that way. The only reason we're doing this is because my wife is curious enough to reach down and pick up a snail off the ground and have me bring it home and set up a home for it. So, Canadian Farmstead says, remember the fuss Brian made about having to carry the snail while walking the dog? Yes. I thought it was pretty ridiculous until I saw how much that snail was worth. Backwoods says, I understand no circumstances that the snails was my idea. I love my wife. Rewilder Life says love helps them grow. It does. I think my wife is fantastic. I think that her view on the world, I think her love of animals, I think her curiosity of the odd and the not normal, the exotic animals, the fact that she is so enamored by armadillos and still has the curiosity to to observe one that got smashed by a car for a week and was intrigued by it. I love her. I love her to death. I don't know what my life would be like without her. It would definitely be more boring. She keeps me wondering on a day-to-day basis. Chris Dixon says monetize the world. Fuck yeah, buddy. Somebody said in a Telegram group I was in the other day, asked me, we were talking about, Rachel was part of this conversation. We were talking about the different MOs. His stated goal was basically to double his salary in his career, which is fine. To each his own. Make the fucking money, man. Make the Benjamins. They make the world go round. But he makes money to support his lifestyle. And I changed my lifestyle to support my income or to live in my income or whatever. I learned to live different. And I really Rewilder Life says she just listens to hear about Corey, which is fine. She's kind of like this special thing that I hold over there. I talk about her a lot and I bring her on every once in a while. She's my hook. Keep them wanting more, right? That's how you do it. But we're having a conversation and like not a whole lot of people understand this way of living. I would say once our cabin's built, we do have some longer term debt that we're still trying to get rid of. Once that happens, this plan is in full swing. It was some stuff we carried over from the farm, and yeah, it's just a mess. But slowly picking away at that. Once that's gone, our standard of living, it's not standard of living because our standard of living, we are actually living. We're doing the things that we think about. We're doing the things that we want to. Not all of them. I'm still working at trying to get Corey to be able to do that on a day-to-day basis. But we're able to do this because we've adjusted our lifestyle, and our outgoing expenses, our expenses, when we get up in that cabin, when we finally make that last debt payment, will be well under the poverty line. Well under. And one of the statements in the conversation was, what would it take for you to achieve? I think it was, what would it take for you to achieve the level of freedom you're seeking? Because this is what it's all about. I want to be able to get up today and go do what I want. Because I've set it up that way. And he's like, well, how much would it take? Oh, Pickle Pete, don't worry. There is definitely a mantra there. There is definite. It's been on. Don't worry. Don't worry. It was a significant amount, and to do it in the transition we did, it's not ideal in doing it. So it is what it is. It's on a plan. It's on a plan. And so I thought about it for a second. He was like, is it $5 million? I'm gonna sneeze, guys. It's coming, but I just can't get it to go. Is it $5 million? Is it $10 million? Like, what amount of money? What big lump of money? And I said, that's way over what I need. Like, seriously, guys? So I remember a long time ago. God, it's probably 10 or more years ago. I was going on snow goose hunting trip every year with a group of awesome guys. Go down and have boys weekend and shoot a bunch of birds and talk about shit. And there's one guy that I really enjoyed spending time with. He was usually my roommate. And we talked a lot about different shit. I didn't see him very often. The majority of the guys that went on the trip. I saw them on the weekends. They were family. But one of the guys was kind of I didn't see him as much. So I really like to catch up with him. We talked about some really kind of stuff that I was more interested in, like the farm. He was really interested in what we were doing on the farm. And I remember even 10 years ago, it was like, hey, he was talking about the plan, like what we were working towards, because he got it. He understood that there was an end goal, that the working 50 hours and then coming home and doing 3 or 4 hours worth of projects and beating yourself up on the farm and working 8 days a week and doing all that stuff. There was a reason for it. It wasn't insanity. Well, I mean, it is, but it wasn't perpetual. I wasn't doing it to do it forever. I was doing the extra now so I could set it up so I didn't have to do it later. And we had a conversation way back then, and I already knew my number. I knew how much I needed to be free. I knew that my mortgage had to be gone. I didn't want anybody to be able to come and take away my house if I lost my job. I knew that the debt had to be gone. I knew that those payments were what was making me not free. I knew if I learned how to raise chickens or forage animals from the woods or raise rabbits or raise quail or grow food, that in combination with learning how to do that and acquiring those skills and setting up those systems, once the debt was gone, I was fucking free. Because whatever happened, I could make it work. Whatever happened, I could figure it out. There was no situation where I lost a job and I was like, oh shit, we need money. Whether that was $10,000 or whether it was my mortgage payment that month, emergency funds are awesome. Emergency funds are fantastic. We need money now and then. But if you didn't need a car to go to work, you didn't need a car to leave your house, and your car broke down, how much of an emergency is it? Our first thing we did, the reason we're carrying debt right now is because we chose the debt that we wanted to when we sold our house. We lost a significant portion when we went through our whole experience selling. The timeline just didn't work out. We took a significantly less. If we had sold it for the first price that we got screwed over, and I think this was a lot of the angst from that, this would be a totally different conversation. But when we had the pile of money from our house and we were deciding what to do with it, we chose to pay off our trailer. We chose to pay off our truck. Because you know what? That loan that I have, that consolidation loan that we kind of just made one payment, if I don't have income, if Corey loses her job, if whatever, what are they going to take? It's unsecured. And I'm not one to shill off on my debt. But if I can worry about someone garnishing my credit instead of coming and taking my house or my vehicle, I think that's pretty reassuring. And I'll make a phone call and say, "Hey, I'll send you whatever money I can when I can do it, but they can't come and take my house. I don't have a house. They can't come and take my living facility. They can't come and take my vehicle." Pickle P says, you shed the fear of not having a house. That's a huge weight off. Mortgage payments blow. Rewilder Life says, once you have no debt, it doesn't take a lot to live. And that was the kind of the end of the whole conversation yesterday. I don't need money. I mean, you do, but you can make it work. It's easier to figure it out on the fly it's easier to make the decisions to go and take a new job where you take a pay cut to learn a new skill. It's easier to go do some side hustles or build a small income stream. And it's not easy. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying our shit's easy right now. Corey and I stress all the time. We're in the transition phase. But man, when we get there, it's going to be sweet. It's worth every second of stress. It's worth every second of hard work. I don't know. Maybe Corey doesn't think it is. I do. And the day I can tell her that she can quit her job because of all this and come and work together with me on a day-to-day basis, not just live together and not just function together, but actually wake up and decide together what we want to do, because she's the love of my life. And I want to spend every minute with her. And I don't want her to be stressed. I don't want her to have to go to a job that she performs well at, and she has a great boss, and she enjoys the work. But there's a lot of headaches and a lot of bullshit that comes with working for anybody else. Though that's the fucking day is when I can buy her out of her job. And not necessarily because I'm making $1 million and we're covering her income. No, it's going to be because we don't need much fucking money to do it. That's why I'm doing this. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it for everybody? Man, it's for very few people. Rewilder Life says, combine debt free with community, barter, and boom. Yeah. Rachel's on the same path. Rachel and I think could have like a conversation without saying any words, because we are absolutely on the same page of what the end goal is. So buckle up, guys. Phase 16 of this crazily long and windy path is on the move, and man, phase 16 is the one. This is the goal. Like, it seems haphazard and it seems all over the place, but we're right on path. This was a long-term plan. We had a 5-year plan when we went to the farm. Somebody asked me if I felt like I failed at the farm because we were only there 5 years and we shut down and we left. That was the plan, was 5 years and then reevaluate and decide what we were going to do. And it didn't work. It didn't work for us. And not because we couldn't make it work. We didn't want to be there anymore. So we made a new plan and we're right on course. We're right on course. And this next stage is lot 1. And whether lot 1 is the last lot or lot 1 is the first of many, that's yet to be seen. But we're right on path. We're right on the path. Let's do it. Follow along. It's only going to get crazier, for sure. For sure. Anyway, guys, it's way after. If you got some time, head over to check out Pickle Pete over there on the Food Forest Farms YouTube page. Sensei Scramblin' doing Wake Up Seattle. I just probably ranted the first 10 minutes of his show. Good morning to Wake Up Seattle. I appreciate you listening. If he still rolls my show at the beginning. And to all the audience in the live stream over there on the vertical feed, I haven't checked in. Noster, if you're there, I appreciate it. It was just kind of an off morning this morning for sure. I appreciate everybody listening, everybody that tunes in every day and shares this crazy journey with me. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like and share it with people that could use this, that could use a little levity, maybe a little inspiration. I don't know what I provide to anybody. It is what it is. Be sure to subscribe to return value for value. Please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. You can help support us by heading over to thelotsproject.com, checking out my partner companies, affiliate links, discount codes, and all that, or the brandly new comfreyroots.com. where we're selling comfrey roots and we're building a comfrey empire. Soon to have a couple new products up there. We're going to be rolling out our whole leaf dried and our ground dried leaf for all your salve and infusion projects and poultices and the like. All that information is easy to find, guys. Come join me in the Telegram group, t.me/LotsChat. Join an awesome community of people that, man, it's a fun time there. If you get butthurt over stuff or you're sensitive, I don't know if it's the place for you. But if you want to have a good time and you got some thick skin, come join us and have a good time, guys. It's Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be talking TikTok, best of TikTok for the week. Guys, have a great day, and we'll catch up with you on Friday.
I can feel the sun.